Thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. Tonight, the APC gets a new national chairman, and Nigeria pushes for a seat at the world's highest court. We'll begin with politics, then pivot to global justice. Stay with us, everyone. We're starting with breaking political developments from the nation's capital in yet another leadership turnover at the All Progressives Congress. The party's National Executive Committee has now elected Dr. Yilwatda, a former governorship candidate in Plateau State, as the new national chairman of the APC. His emergence just a month after Abdullahi Ganduje's resignation adds to a growing list of party chairmen whose tenures have been surprisingly brief. From Adams Oshomole to Malabuni and Abdullahi Adamu, the APC has witnessed rapid leadership changes since 2019. And joining me now is Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, a senior APC leader and also former Presidential Campaign Council member. Thank you, Your Excellency, for joining us on the program this evening. As a sitting governor and a prominent party stakeholder, I'm wondering what you make of the qualities of your new chairman. What does Dr. Yilwatda brings to the table to stabilize the APC at this time?
He's bringing, thank you very much for having me. I think he's bringing lots of experience. Number one, you have to look at his background. He is purely an ICT person. He was a lecturer, in Makodi for a very long time. And then, so he's bringing that knowledge of issues about our registration, about our membership, about getting everything set in the digital form. In addition to that, he is now bringing his knowledge of being a former INEC commissioner, again in Benue. So he's somebody who is very familiar with the INEC operation, somebody who has conducted elections, somebody who is very familiar with have anything to do with our elections. So then if you look at the other side, he was a gubernatorial candidate of our party in Plateau State, and he has been a member of the presidential campaign committees. So he's also bringing that knowledge. So he's bringing knowledge as a politician, as a technocrat, and somebody also who has the knowledge of everything that you can think of. When you talk about the party and the elections and everything like that.
Absolutely. I like your optimism about his experience because some would say Dr. Yilwatda is relatively new to national party leadership, and they're wondering how the party's internal cohesion can withstand yet another learning curve. But I'm interested in finding out precisely how he emerged as the most favorite candidate for this job, because you were one of those governors that backed the emergence of President Tinubu. How involved were the governors in shaping this latest chairmanship decision? You had a meeting with the president yesterday. Was it the president who handpicked him?
Well, such selections require a lot of input from so many other people. Of course, we have to select somebody that is very well known to the president. He's just finishing as a minister of the president. So for that reason, being a minister, is somebody that the president has worked with. The president understands who he is. And the president believes in his loyalty and his commitment, not only to the party, but also to Mr. President himself. So, and you have to understand the kind of ministry that this gentleman was given. It's a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, disaster management, and IDPs. So it's somebody also who has a lot to do with people generally. In fact, he was just informing us about the number of housing that he has registered, within this 8 months period that he has been a minister. It moved from the 2 million to 6 million within a very short time because of his background, that he has in all these other areas. So I think the president himself believes in him, but the president will not make that kind of decision alone without consultations. And the president made all kinds of consultations that are necessary, with all the people that are necessary, including the governors. The final consultation was with the governors yesterday, and every one of the governors was actually there, with the exception of 2 that sent their own deputy governors because of the situation they found themselves, like the governor of Katsina because of the accident he had, so he had to send his deputy, and then the governor of Akwa Ibom, who is also not around. Other than that, all the other 21 governors were there. APC has 23 governors out of the 36 now. So everybody was there. And the president was very happy that nobody was against this particular selection that he has.
All right. So it was a unanimous decision for all the APC governors. Let's look at the recent history of your party with its leadership from Oshomole to Ganduje. Each chairman appeared to have left under very different and even sometimes controversial circumstances. What is the real issue here? Is this a structural flaw or simply politics?
Well, change is constant. That is one thing you cannot avoid. And it depends on the situations. Our party is a moving trend. You can see the expansion of the party. You can see the way the party is moving. It's a party that started with less number of governors. Today we have 23 and counting. You have more and more. You have to look at the situation of these other peoples. So each one of them, has a different reason why he had to leave. Now, in addition, even though Governor Ganduje left, the president was very, very highly appreciative of him. The party very appreciative of him, and we had to actually commend him for all that he did. His Excellency Abdullahi Ganduje did so much, for the party during his period. So in politics, for this kind of positions, you need people for the reasons of the moment. And I believe this is a chairman that is coming for the reasons of the moment.
Beyond the new leadership, what is your party's strategy going forward? You mentioned that you have 23 governors, but what happens ahead of 2027? Because it appears to be battling some perception challenges, no doubt, in some states. I'm sure you are aware of the coalition movement, whose main aim is to ensure that Mr. President doesn't get a second term in office. You mentioned that some people are joining your party, but they say it's just a matter of time before we really know where everyone truly stands. What do you consider the superior strategy ahead of 2027, given the huge number of heavyweights that are ganging up against you?
Well, more heavyweights are also ganging up for us. For us to continue having this number of governors, then we're having more and more ganging up on our own side. So I think it is normal for opposition to emerge and to come and show that they are emerging. That's what democracy is all about. And I don't think it is something that is giving anybody lack of any sleep as far as the APC is concerned. So we are getting stronger. We are definitely a stronger party today than we used to, when we came in 2023. Therefore, since we are getting stronger, we cannot also be getting scared, of what is happening. So that's the way that I look at it. And I don't think it is anything that we are worried about. We have no fears whatsoever about 2027, and we strongly believe that.
Indeed, Mr. Governor. But are you also considering the electoral value of your chairman? Even though I understand that I get the point that Plateau has the highest number of registered voters in the North Central during the 2023 election. But do you think he has that political heavyweight stature to be able to win even that state, for instance, for your party in the coming election?
Well, that's one of the statements he made today as he was coming in as a new chairman. Yes, Plateau State has a huge number of 2.7 million registered voters. By the time we go into another continual registers aspect, we are going to even get more than 3 million from Plateau. I have no doubt about it. But it is not the issue. He is strong enough to be a candidate of the party in 2027. If he was not strong enough, he was very much unknown, as at that time, as far as some of the political heavyweights that you are talking about are concerned. But yet he was able to come back, and be the person in charge that he was there. So I don't think it is about heavyweights. That is one. Two, he garnered a lot of support. And all these issues about religious, Muslim, Christian, Muslim, this and that. And we have been able now to douse one of the tensions, because now we have a Christian who is a distant. And in fact, if you are talking of a Christian, he is He comes from the family, of the clergy people. His father was a clergy person. And he is, when you go about the area of education, he's a professor and things like that.
All right.
So, but
Mr. Governor,
like he's coming up. Yes, sir.
I want us to quickly touch on a particular development in your state before we go. Your media head has come out strongly to debunk viral claims about the collapse of the interchange in Lafia. But the fact that this narrative even gained such traction, do you see it as a failure of proactive communication or a deliberate political smear campaign?
No, I think that is what you have to understand about the kind of what we call opposition now. We have gone into opposition that have lost control and they are scared to death. Because if an opposition can sit down in their room and come out with a video, of what happened in Japan some 20 years ago about a flyover that happened as a result of earthquake and now associated with a state, then you can see that they are the ones under pressure, not us. So we have been able to debunk it. Nothing has happened to, as far as, from what you can see, anybody who has common sense will understand that the only reason why you will have this, is because of an earthquake or something like that can happen. Otherwise, there is no way, you will have this. Secondly, our own design of the flyover does not even look anything close to this. So they were not even smart enough. They will have come up with a flyover that looks similar to this. So this doesn't even look like our own flyover. So, and that's the kind of, so because they are so scared, I'm happy you are showing our flyover. This is the kind of design we have. This is today's design of a flyover. And this is the flyover of Lafia as it stands today, one of the most beautiful flyovers that we have. So what the opposition could do is to say that what the president commissioned 3 weeks ago had collapsed. And how can they do that? Go and bring an old video, of 20 years ago, an earthquake. It's a very shameful thing, and it has nothing to do with us. It's not because we have done anything wrong. It's just because you have people who are so scared that they have now gone into fake news in order to show that's an opposition.
I hear you, Mr. Governor. We have to go now. Your, excuse me, your media head called this a centerpiece of engineering excellence, right? But just beyond denying the falsehood, what step is your government taking to assure citizens of the structural integrity and long-term durability of not only this interchange, but of all the projects that you've engaged in?
Other projects, we will not take on any project whatsoever until we do what we call an EIA. I'm an engineer by background, and I also participate not only in the design, but in the supervision to make sure these kind of things will not happen. And by the grace of God, we won't see anything like this happen. And the only way you can have this type of things anyway is if you have something like earthquake and things like that. So because of that, we have taken what we call a safety factor to say that assuming we are going to have that, this is the kind. You see, instead of having pillars all the way, you can see in our own, we're having double pillars, instead of having single pillars like the one you saw in there. So these are all the kinds of safety factors that we have taken as far as our designs are concerned, not only for this, but for all our other projects as far as Nasarawa State is concerned.
Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule, thank you so much for talking to us on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.